maxing it out. In what way? None other than to have Madd Maxxx up on this panel and get to know him. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate everybody that was already in the chat, hanging out, and even hung out a little longer so we could get everything prepped and stuff like that. I appreciate the support, everybody, and I hope you guys have your questions ready and you enjoy this interview. We are here with none other than Madd Maxxx himself. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, bro. Staying alive as best I can, you know?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Congratulations. And on the gathering,
Yes, sir.
we have a question that will tie to that, but we'll get to that later on down the road. We're just going to jump right in with the first question and go from there. So what's your name? Where was you born and raised? And where do you currently live now?
Well, so Maximilian, that's my name. I was born in Manhattan and lived in the tri-state, basically, like New York, New Jersey, for most of my childhood. Went to school in Colorado for the last 2 years of my high school, which I did the junior year second time. And fucking after that, I moved around a bunch, but then I ended up in Massachusetts about 16 years ago. And that was where I ended up having my son and then eventually my daughter. And so this is where I stayed. And
that fortified it as home, huh?
Murder, Massachusetts. Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. I had never planned to make it out here. You know what I mean? For as close as it was, technically speaking.
Right.
It's I never had a reason to travel up here except when eventually I got to a point where people that I knew came down, or people came down, I met them, and then I heard about shows at the Palladium. And the first one I think was Fright Fest in 2000, like, I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. But I remember Madd Maxxx came out with Star Wars outfits and lightsabers. And
man.
No, it was pretty fresh. They did House of Crazies one year too. I was there the year that there was a fucking riot over CDs. I actually got 2 of them, and then I gave them both away.
No shit.
Yeah. Now I've never really been much of a collector. You know what I'm saying? I lose everything anyway, but I've kept a couple of things over the years, but for the most part, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't collect shit because everything that I wear, I actually wear it. So like, I'll just cycle all the shit that I have. I occasionally will pick up a new-ish jersey here and there, but like, I've spent so much money on merch over the years and lost it that, you know what I'm saying, I don't even trip on that shit anymore.
I resonate with you so much on that. And just because my life, like, I don't know, the last, let's say 10, 15 was hell and on and off and rocking. I've only found stability in my life the last like 5 or 6 years, which is sad to say, but I have slowly started.
Think that's true. I think that, we all end up going different winding routes and shit, especially in a fucking community like this. And I think that if you ever find stability or you ever find, a semblance of peace or whatever, fucking there's value in that no matter when the fuck it happens. I mean, because not for nothing, and I'm sure that you know what I mean when I say this.
Right.
There's a lot of motherfuckers that don't. And not only that don't, but don't give a fuck about trying neither. So don't sell yourself short. That's all I'm saying.
Right on. I appreciate that. Before I ask you this next question, how old are you, man?
I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 in September.
All right. Hell yeah. I just turned 33.
No doubt.
The next question is kind of an obvious, but I still got to ask it, let you speak on it. There is a third part that you might have a different opinion on, but it goes as follows. Are you a juggalo? How long have you been down, or when did you discover yourself as a juggalo? You know what I'm saying? Because we're born juggalos, but we don't really discover ourselves until a certain age.
I'm with you on that.
And then the third one is, do you consider yourself a juggalo rapper. Some people don't like the box. Some
Oh
people
no,
don't see a
listen.
box.
Let me tell you something. And this was part of what I was talking about on the merry-go-round broke down. Is the world that I grew up in, or when I started rapping, especially being a juggalo and being a rapper at the same time. If you were a juggalo rapper for a long time, that was you declaring that you couldn't rap, you could only perform for juggalos, and the stuff that you were making was actually juggalo oriented, like you talked about Hatchets and Fago in your songs. Now, for a long time, that shit was considered as super corny by fucking anybody that was not on Psychopathic. And so for a long time, everybody that I knew that was down ass fucking juggalos didn't represent that way. And not because we didn't want to, we definitely wanted to, but it was just Psychopathic made it very clear, like that's cornball shit to do. So,
Right.
with that said, this is what I will tell you. Number one, the answer to the first question, I found Malenko in 97. And if not 97, like the beginning of 98. Just because it wasn't long after it came out, but like the time frame, I don't know how soon after the release I actually seen it. Either way.
Absolutely. And like you got years on me. For me, it was 2002, Great Malenko, but you have like 5 years on me in age. So that's the difference.
No, true indeed. And so, interesting story. The Malenko was the first album that I listened to, but I remember I found it, was enthralled by it, didn't have anybody around me that I could really engage with as far as the community, and which meant at that point I hadn't found it at all. And it wasn't until either 98 or 99 when Juggalos Brothers came out. I was going to, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's a skateboard, BMX and rollerblading camp in Pennsylvania called Woodward. And so I went there. I went there like twice, I think, but that was the first time that I went. And fucking, that was before we left on the bus at the Rockaway Mall in New Jersey. I almost lost my train of thought there. My parents said go into Sam Goody and pick a CD. Sam Goody. I'm dating myself on that one. So I walk in and there's a fucking stand-up for Juggalos Brothers. I was like, oh shit, that's right. These guys were dope as fuck. Let me see what's up with that. And we all know how fucking dope Juggalos Brothers is. So I spent the 7-hour bus ride just listening to the shit over and over again. And then met a dude at the camp who was a juggalo. And he was a juggalo to the point where, again, this was the 90s, 98, 99 probably, maybe 2000. And I was probably 99. In any case, fucking, he had an Evil Dead shirt, like JCW Evil Dead. Back then, you weren't buying merch like that on the internet. You had to go to the JCW, and that shit
to the events. Yeah.
So the dude was about it to the point where actually a year or two later, whenever it was, I went back to the camp and I had started rapping by that point. And so I was a big fan of Eminem, being a white dude that rapped in the fucking 90s.
Stop it! A juggalo like an Eminem.
But so, but you want to know what? That's the fucking point, because bro pressed me about it. Because he was like, no, you're not a juggalo, you like Eminem. And it's
shut up.
Listen, bro, come on. First of all, you know that's not even just how a lot of people are just about it.
Yeah.
Definitely back then. Like,
for real.
You couldn't walk in at the height of the beef. You couldn't walk into a fucking ICP show with an Eminem shirt on. Are you out of your mind?
No.
I had homies that went to Eminem shows in ICP shirts. Nobody did nothing. But if you think that you could have walked into a fucking ICP show wearing an Eminem shirt while they were performing nothing but a bitch thing during Bizarre Bazaar, you're out of your fucking mind. Which, by the way, that was really where it happened for me, because I got down in 97, technically speaking, finding Malenko. But the first time I went to a show was Bizarre Bazaar, Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, December 2nd, 2000. And I only know that because I knew that was the show, and then I Googled it, and that's what the date was. It's not like I remember that, but fucking that was the first time I had ever actually been around juggalos in the Raw. I had never been around juggalos. And so at that point, fucking being around all these people where I've always, especially at that point, I'm super weird. So I've always been very socially awkward and neurodivergent like a motherfucker as well.
Right.
But fucking, I remember going there and just, it was an experience where people were treating me like we had been homies for years, and I didn't know none of these motherfuckers. Like, people used to be really stingy about passing the weed in the area where I was, and when I went there, people that I'd never even met passing me a joint in the crowd. Which, I mean, granted, that is like a rock show thing. Don't get me wrong, but it was just there were two things that happened very specifically that I love. Well, two and a half. One, he talked about it in Behind the Paint. I saw right as the end of it was happening. Nashville Pussy, when everybody like sat down and just flipped them off. I didn't see that happen, but I showed up right as their set was ending, and they tried to throw demo tapes in the crowd, and juggalos were just chucking them back at them.
We don't want your shit, bitch.
Fucking no, it was great. Well, because here's the thing: these dumb motherfuckers are waving the stars in bars. Which, I mean, I know that everybody loves to fucking debate it these days, but back then that shit wasn't flying at all. So fucking these guys were already on weird territory. But interesting story. After they finished, there was like a balcony in Hammerstein, and so fucking there was a dude, and I think there was a chick with him, but they were up there, and it looked like maybe he could have been Nashville Pussy's manager, or he could have just been some super cool guy. But either way, fucking he had a bottle of Faygo. Like, he obviously one that he took from behind stage because it was a diet Faygo, and even in fucking New York, where the fuck are you getting a diet Faygo 2-liter? Not in New York. Right. That's not happening. You could maybe get a 20 ounce. I used to be able to find those. I remember when I tried to bring a bunch into Birch Hill nightclub for the second Bizarre show, they stopped me at the gate. They were like, "Nah, sorry, we're taking this." And it shows that I was a young new juggalo because I just gave them to security instead of just opening them and throwing them to people that were
right.
But
launching it.
But and so to that end, the dude that was up on the balcony, like we saw that he had a Faygo, and then everybody started cheering for it. And then he opened it and sprayed it on the crowd, which, again, in between sets. It wasn't during anything that was going on. And then another thing that happened that I always found to be, I even referenced this in a song, I think, once. Yeah, I did reference it in that song. In between sets, they were just playing songs, and Jump the Fuck Up by Soulfly with Corey Taylor. So that started playing on the speakers, and I don't know what happened, but the spirit just took us, and we all just started moshing like Soulfly was on the stage. And fucking, I had never seen nothing like that, where people were fucking, like, again, wilding the fuck out, moshing like there was a band on stage to the music of a band that was not playing that night. Just because. Like, I had never seen nothing like it. And then, I mean, obviously, this was also... me and my boy, Reverend Television, 50, Derek, fucking, formerly of Weird Die Young, always of Weird Die Young in my mind, and but also, we did the podcast together, and they're probably gonna finish it, but fucking, we laugh about this sometimes, but Vampiro was playing bass on that tour. Insane Clown Posse was on tour, and Vampiro was playing the bass. Now, I think back, I'm not even sure if it was plugged in or not. Maybe it was, but just because I don't know if he actually plays an instrument or not, but really all he was doing was just rocking out with the guitar. And then I remember he would grab Fagos, open them, and then just slam them on the floor. And fucking
watch him shoot.
Like, well, just the show was something like I had never seen before. And the show itself is, captivating enough. But the people that I met and the experience that I had with these people, it just made me feel like this is something that I need to be a part of. I need to know more about this. And fortunately enough, juggalos, being the very self-motivated people that they are, were some of the first people on the internet. And so finding communities of juggalos and juggalos that wanted to hang out with other juggalos but didn't know where any were. That was what fucking happened at that point. And quite frankly, that's how I ended up in all of this shit, is the online juggalo community. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, do you get like a high when you find a juggalo in the wild? Because like I swear it's like
kind of, but my thing is what's been happening more with me recently is because I mean, number one, I wear this most of the time, but also if I see somebody if I see somebody wearing merch, or if I see somebody, because sometimes a juggalo, even if they're not wearing merch, you can kind of pick them out. But
yeah,
I will always address it. I might not whoop at you, but I will say something like, "What's up, ninja?" or like, "What's up, family?" And it's one of those kinds of things where I was writing some shit today, and fucking I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, what was the Molly popping dropping in my rock and ride? If I whoop whoop, you ain't shit if you do not reply. And I fucking, because I'm sorry. Again, my thing is that why are you acting like you're too fucking cool to whoop at me? We ain't gotta have a conversation.
Oh my god! Bro. See, and I've noticed that too. Some new age juggalos, like I don't know if they're under 18 and you whoop at them, they might look at you weird as shit. And I'm like, what?
You want to know what though? My whole thing is this: is that the new generation has always been a thing. Ever since I remember, one of the main things about when I first started was, or not even first started, but first found the culture, was that every single fucking person that I would meet that was from old school time, if you said, like when I said, "Oh, I just got down," like I got down during Malenko. "Oh, you ain't fucking down, bro. I've been down since Ringmaster." Like,
yeah, right.
That was the fucking, everybody had that shit to say for every generation. "Oh, you just got down at Bazaar. You ain't down. I got down at Malenko." Wait a minute. I thought Malenko was not fucking down enough 2 years ago. What are you talking about? The fact is that every generation has had that, like essentially that gatekeeping idea. But this is the way that I look at it, is the way that the gate should be kept, because people seem to forget. Listen to We Belong, man. Everybody's allowed in. Everybody. You're just not allowed to be an abuser, a bigot, a rapist, a pedophile, or generally speaking, an actual piece of shit. Outside of that, radical acceptance and radical inclusion is the name of the game.
Poor, fat, skinny, ugly. Yeah, there ain't no stipulation other than those main ones.
So this is my point though, because I do believe in gatekeeping, but I personally, I don't, because again, people showing up in the juggalo world and either becoming popular in it or getting very deeply involved in it, and then they make friends that I'm friends with, or that I don't care about shit like that. Some people do, but the fact is that I keep the gate on the way out. Everybody's allowed in. But if I see you sneaking out after you only been here for a little bit, and then you showed up trying to be all fucking rah-rah about how down you were, and then realized that this community is actually full of a lot of really colorful and difficult characters, that it's more trouble than you feel like it's worth. And so now you just back away from it. Like, I'm not going to say names of artists and shit, but it happened. It's happened a bunch of times where somebody will get a bump somehow. They'll, play a show, play the gathering, do a track, whatever it is. And then an example of who didn't do this is Free Will. Free Will, I'm pretty sure they would represent as juggalos, but regardless of whether they do or they don't, they have massive, true, genuine love for the scene. And that's why they continue to come back. But I've seen a lot of artists start to fuck with the juggalo scene, not see it fuck with them back in the way that they expected it to. And then they basically start to kind of fade back and not really be involved anymore.
Wait a minute.
Well, I hate to say it.
The whole idea at that point was they were literally vulturing. They're like, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to act cool, I'm going to try to get some plays, some views, some attraction.
I mean, bro,
and then if it works, I'm going to hang out, because why not? But if it don't work, now I got to backpedal.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, bro, think about it. The way that I see it, and again, I genuinely, I try to be an adult about shit, because really, people can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Let's be real here. But I will also say that if you are going to, again, that's why I said I keep the gate on the way out. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure the door hits you on the ass on the way out, because it's like, look at the people that don't get booked at the gathering and then just don't show up at all. Like, again, if you were approaching it in a way of like, I'm not a juggalo, but I like fuck with y'all, that's one thing. But a lot of the time you'll see people start to basically co-opt juggalo culture, and then when it doesn't start working for them, I honestly feel like that's probably why they had that to say back in the day of like, don't bite our shit, because when it doesn't fucking work the way that you want it to, then you're going to just back off from it. And then people are going to be like, oh, well, what the fuck? Why was this guy doing their shit? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just, my whole thing is that I've always done music, and this is the, long story short, too late, of the third question, which is that I, for many years, did not represent myself as a juggalo rapper, again, because of everybody that said that they were a juggalo rapper sucked ass at it, and I didn't want to be associated with that. And it was also the kind of thing where, again, you didn't want to be perceived as essentially a hound dog. But what I will tell you is this: now in 2025, yes, I do represent as a juggalo rapper, and proudly, for three reasons. Number one, because I'm a good enough rapper that no matter what kind of rapper I call myself, people are going to be like, damn, this guy can fucking spit. So I'm good enough of a rapper that the juggalo rapper label does not torpedo me. People hear me, and then they still are like, oh, wow, he can fucking rap like that? Okay. The second reason is because I have I don't know if the legacy is the right word to use, but I have the history of where I got my name from and where my career started. So that is something where it's just, I am a juggalo rapper. I just never represented as that because it wasn't done. It wasn't a thing that was really socially acceptable, essentially. And then the third reason is because I genuinely have given so much time, effort, energy, love, hate, money, time. I think I said time twice, to this culture, and for things where I saw no return. If I end up making lots of money someday, that'd be great. But I barely ever break even on anything. Like, I do this shit because it's what feels real to me, and it is what's real to me. And that's bearing in mind, and I'm not going to get super deep into it, but I deal with like fucking psychotic hallucinations and delusions that follow the carnival, man. Like, this shit goes super, super deep and dark for me sometimes. But
absolutely,
I feel so compelled to do this because of all the people that I've met, all the things that have happened. I have my children through this culture. I have fucking every good friend that I've ever had, and people that have genuinely looked out for me. Like, they say that you're lucky to have one really good friend in your life, and I got a bare minimum of 3 that I know that I could count on for anything. And that only came to me through the carnival. And my thing, I also, because of the shit that's happened in my life, and again, I won't go too deep into it, but I feel like I'm on some kind of a mission to like legitimize juggalo culture so that I can be like, hey, see, me being a juggalo is not just proof that I'm a piece of shit. And I like, because again, without too much exposition, that is something that I deal with. And
absolutely,
I fucking, again, at this point, really, I represent as a juggalo rapper as kind of, it's kind of tongue in cheek, but really, it is just the truth of who and what I am. I just happen to be a dope enough rapper that it does not preclude me.
It's not going to negatively affect who your persona or anything, like, because you're really a juggalo for one. It's not just an act. This is what you love. This is what you're passionate about. And it sounds like whether you become famous from rapping or not, you're still going to do it because it's for the carnival, it's for the culture, it's for what you get some kind of general happiness out of. So,
well, and again, like I said, it genuinely is kind of complicated sometimes. It's difficult to explain, but with that said, it's like just the experience has been profound the whole way through. And I have seen so many different people that have had not necessarily similar lives as mine, but similar struggles mentally, struggles with addiction, struggles with mental illness with other people, friends, family, and also histories historically of trauma. Like my grandfather survived the Holocaust, and one of the things that I've come to find through meeting juggalos over the years is a lot of juggalos have had some kind of violent act in their past with their family or somebody they were very close to. They've had to deal with something like that. Like I've met a lot of juggalos, and here's the thing: it's a thing that happens that people hear these words, and it's like they maybe don't think about the real reality of what they mean. But like I've known a decent amount of juggalos who have had family or friends murdered, and that's not a thing that everybody deals with, and it's a thing that is very socially. People don't want to talk about it. They want to listen to a podcast about it. But if you're like, yeah, I'm actually really sad because something happened to like my cousin or my friend or somebody's kid or whatever, and then suddenly it's too real and nobody wants to discuss it.
Right,
But
they want to shut down and be like, whoa, yeah.
no, exactly. And the whole thing is that it's not like across the board, but a lot of juggalos that I have met, either in their history or in their personal lives, have had to deal with some kind of really difficult traumatic event or some kind of struggle like that.
That's
and
why
I feel like it's part of what brings us together. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of the attraction as far as what causes us to gather. Like, I sometimes, you want to know what? Let me ask you a question real quick.
Yes.
Because I think about this sometimes. So they're about to finish the second deck. So that comes out of the Gathering, which I'm very curious to see the lore, and I'm very curious to see how the album came out because it's a Mikey Clark album. So it's going to be that shit's going to be fire. But I eventually, because I'm not going to try to put a year on it. I don't know how many years they got left. But do you think that if they allow somebody else to run the Gathering when they retire or when whatever happens, do you think the Juggalos will continue to gather if there's no ICP?
So we're talking about passing the baton, the golden baton.
I would love to see them pass the torch, because here's the thing. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that if JJ and maybe Ronan, I don't know which one of Shaggy's kids it would be, but if they were down, and as far as I know, JJ is about the culture. He walked on his graduation wearing a hatchet, man. You know what I'm saying? That was a choice he made.
Right.
And as far as I know, Shaggy's kids are about the culture. I don't watch his streams, but I'm pretty sure they get in with him. So
Jay's daughter's been going on the Joe Bruce podcast or the Bruce Brothers podcast,
right,
but there for a while. I don't think she was really about it. Like, she respects what her dad, done, right. But
I can believe that.
And she done the furry thing for a minute, and Jay made a furry suit. I gotta tell you,
first of all, when Jay fucking went to that convention with her, that was one of the most heartwarming moments I've ever had.
Dude, that was dope, yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck. That man said, "Oh, what, sweetheart? What do you want to do? Yes, let's go do that right now." And as a matter of fact, we're going to do it right, and I'm going to get you a fresh fucking outfit. And I'm going to get a fresh fucking outfit.
Exactly!
Bro, I'm sorry. People hating on that shit, it's like, I get
I'm
it.
not.
I get why you think it's funny. And furries are a little bit silly. It's true. But at the same time, we're a little bit silly.
Right, we're weird. That's like our sub-adjacent people. Like, what?
Exactly. People don't want to admit it, but juggalos and bronies are more similar than they aren't. I'll tell you that.
You know?
And but again, here's the whole thing. There's a lot of juggalos out here that really, really rest on the idea that being an OG that isn't like just some rando, they think that makes them cool. There's a lot of fucking people out there.
Let me answer your general question real quick to maybe allow you to even go further. Like, because this is what I'm going to say. When I hear that conversation come up, everybody automatically is like, oh, well, if Ouija takes it, then fuck that. And I don't care if everybody don't like Ouija. I personally love the man, but to each their own. And I don't know that Ouija, even though I love Ouija to death. 90% of everything I listen to and do is Ouija. But like, I don't even know that he could like, he's got JO3 or Juggalo Ohio that he does, and it's becoming a big kind of event. You know what I'm saying? It's a 2-day thing, but like
Right.
I'm saying, I don't even think he rightfully could. I don't know, carry it right. You're saying
no,
the
listen,
kids.
bro.
I don't know
So
if the kids are mentally like, yeah, we really want to do this because it's for the culture, or like you're saying, or like, are they like, well, this is my family's thing, but maybe at least it's a financial, but it's not really like,
So
like,
you want to know
where's
what?
the passion? Is it going to be different? Because I will gladly go once, whoever does it, to see what it's like. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no,
And
absolutely. So look, this is what I'll tell you. Is first of all, folded into the question that I had asked before, if Jay and Shaggy's kids decided to do it, I think that most people, most juggalos, would fucking sign on to that because it is the torch being passed directly to their progeny. So there is validity to that. But what I will also say is that whether or not they chose to do it, I just wonder, because juggalos do, to a certain extent, like mini gatherings and underground shows and shit. People do like have their own things. Juggalos will always find ways to hang out with each other. They will always
right.
find ways to
And
find
there's
each other.
other big events like Tom Wood Float.
I'm gonna get out there one of these days, man. The sad thing is, not for nothing. You can call me lame for it. I'll take the hit, but I don't really go to shows that I'm not playing. Like,
yeah.
any show that I go to, if I know you even remotely, I will always make an effort to see at least some of your set, and I will make sure that
Right.
you know that I've seen you, because I'm very hard to miss. But I also, a lot of these shows, like, first of all, it's always hot as fuck, and I can never stand still, so I'm always walking outside. Second of all, you
Right.
can't smoke weed inside a lot of these places. And
Right.
I just, a lot of the time, if I don't know nobody, and depending on the way the show is going, I tend to just kind of like hang back until it's time to perform. And again, if I'm not performing at the show and it's not somebody that I'm like super into, it's hard for me to even justify the
Right.
shout out cartoon. It's hard to justify the time expenditure when it's like, I mean, I could, but
But you got to think we're talking hypotheticals. There's no more gatherings.
so
So
here's the thing. I think that it's kind of like, while the gatherings were not happening during, it was really only the 1 year 2020,
right, the
but
COVID.
juggalos were still running shows, like they were still finding venues, and it's like the fucking government ain't coming and shutting us down, so
Right, let's go.
we're just gonna do our thing. And fucking, so I do think that regardless of whether or not there's a gathering, juggalos will always find a way to find each other
To
and
unite.
convene and gather, essentially. But the whole thing is about the gathering itself. And here's proof positive, bro. The fact that
We
you
will
will see,
never die alone. Sorry.
you will see every fucking year, people know, I swear to God, it does not matter who they book. Motherfuckers are going to complain about the lineup every
Oh
time.
my god, I love it! Max, I love it. I'm sorry, that's where the trolling comes in. I love it. I don't give a
No, I
fuck. I'm
know.
in there.
It's
I'm in that shit. Oh, toxic sus boy. I'm making my own post. I don't give no fucks.
now
But no,
listen,
you're
bro.
right.
I think that it is funny just because anybody that's been gathering long enough knows that really we're going to the gathering for specifically who we want to see, and that's it. And by the way, who we want to see is mostly our homies, but a
Right.
few. Every gathering has at least 5 different bands or rappers that you want to see, at least 5. And
Right.
and by the way, that's not including Psychopathic. So
Right.
at that point, it's like there is always, they make sure that there's so much shit to do so that there's a lot, all kinds of options. But
We were just talking about this in one of my last streams. You cannot possibly attend everything. It's not possible.
Exactly. It's not. And especially depending on the way that they set it up, a lot of the time, performances will be at the same time as like contests or specific parties or
you would literally have to catch like a minute or 2 minutes of a homie and then dip and then go to the next stage and maybe catch a minute or two and like it even then and then like how is that enjoyable?
My experience has been this, like case in point, my set at the Gathering this year is at 12:45 on day one. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that if that's not the first act, it's the second. So it's like right at the fucking beginning. So number one, I'm going to be promoting that because a lot of juggalos, they just kind of fucking take their time getting there. And especially nowadays, if I was going to say, ICP usually plays the first night now, and then Ouija second, or wait, no, I think I have that wrong. Either way, the point is that I'm going to be promoting it just so that people know, because it's a reality. Not as many people are going to be on the grounds by that early at the Gathering. However, it is good in the sense that although some people will have fried themselves at the parking lot party, most people will not be so thrashed already that they won't be able to actually catch the set. And I'm looking at it where I have had my placements in the past where it was, in my opinion, a show of like recognition for what they believe my position to be. They booked me at the fucking Gathering where they did a Family Underground, so my name's in the credits. They booked me at the Gathering of Dreams at night on the second stage, which if you've been gathering long enough, you know that night second stage acts are always like underground but established. And I'm looking at it with this one where I'm getting to get my set out of the way early, have a fucking blast of a time, and then just gather and not have to fucking worry about it. And
absolutely,
I like, because I'm going up there to set the tone. I'm going to be out there acting a fucking fool. My last set was I tried to make it this like, shocking and violent performance, but it didn't end up working out the way that I wanted it to. And so I'm realizing this year what I really need to do is just go up there, have a lot of fun, and just be like, I mean, we're here to party, right? It's the fucking Gathering. Like, let's fucking do this let's do what we're here to do. And I'm looking at all the other people that are playing on the second stage, other people I know that haven't been announced yet but are playing. Like, this is going to be for sure. The last two gatherings, this gathering, the last one, I feel like are very much like this, where they're definitely, whatever main stage acts, they're probably going to get some pretty good shit this year. But with that said, this is going to be, and it has been, a gathering of, and I don't give a fuck if they want to say, oh, they're just trying to save money so they don't want to pay people to perform, so they're giving it to people that are up and comers. Quite frankly, I think that number one, they're doing a service to the underground by giving people a platform and giving them the opportunity to perform when just inherently so many people are already going to be there. And also, it's like so many of these people, like a bunch of, not everybody, but a bunch of the people that are booked already that I've seen and that have been announced, they're actually juggalos. And it's so funny about juggalos where
they're homies. They've been in the culture for a while. They've been doing it for the culture. They're not fake. I mean, I gotta shut up because I know a thing or two, but like,
well, no, listen, bro, it varies. But what I'm saying is that, bro, juggalos are very strange people, I mean, just in general. But think about it like this: juggalos want to scream juggalo culture, and we rep juggalo and keep it in your clique. Fuck the outside and fucking whatever. But as soon as it comes down to fucking showing out for a juggalo artist that's not somebody you already fuck with, or not somebody that you're friends with, that'll bring you backstage or some shit, like. Nobody wants to hear like, oh, get that lame shit off the stage. I don't know who that is. Well, you want to know what? A lot of fucking people do. And the people that want to see it are going to be there. And the people that don't want to see it are not going to fucking be there. Like, bro, let me tell you something. when I went out on the road briefly during this the first leg of the ICP tour, which I only ended up making it to 2 shows. It was Cleveland and Newport, which were both great. But fucking bro, let me tell you something. People have told me that I'm a legend in this culture for forever, basically. And people give me all these props and say, "Oh, Max, you this, you Max, you that." I went to these shows, and again, Ohio and Newport, those are places where I knew people. It's not like and there I ran into fans, so it's not like there was no representation. But the fact is, nobody fucking knew who I was. I knew the people I knew, and that was it. Juggalo clout does not exist. It's not a real thing off of the internet. The only people that could accurately say that they have Juggalo clout are either Psychopathic Records artists, which is based technically only ICP and Ouija.
Right.
Then, and this is, I'm going to pose another question to you. I think the only other person who can do that is Wacko the Kid. Now, let me ask you, do you think that Wacko the Kid is a Psychopathic Records artist?
So I don't listen, let me hear you. I'm not saying he ain't. Here, I'll say yes, sure. I'm just gonna say like he's not my favorite, but I'm not hating. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. I have seen pictures of him from Cave-In Rock gatherings, and right. I see
like, he's definitely a jug.
And he had a jailhouse lotus cross tattoo. As far as I'm concerned, at that point, if you're really a juggalo, I don't need to like your shit. I don't need to enjoy it. I'm just
that's just my clarification. A lot of people hate him and like hate on him in our community. I'm not hating him. They don't like
seeing a guy. First of all, nobody likes seeing a guy with money, especially not a community of broke motherfuckers. Like, just because he got a charm, you want to be wearing that bitch. Like, the fact of the matter is, I don't know exactly how he did it because I'm not a pocket watcher and I don't like dive into the history of people unless they give me their story. But Wacko seems to have made a lot of fucking money, however it is he did it. Or has a lot of money, whatever it is. And he is making moves where, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but when they had a video, Wacko, Bloodbath, I think is what it was, that song was on BET, and Violent J thanked Wacko for, he said, this is the first time that we, or I, have ever been on BET. So Violent J had never been on BET until Wacko the Kid made his own connection and brought him there for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
see, a lot of people hate that too. Like they said he was like sport. He made a post or something about Coca-Cola or something.
No, listen, let me tell you something. I saw that, and I will say that it did make me chuckle a bit. But number one, he was also at the Fago event that Jay and Sarah Russi went to, and we're taking pictures of that. But second of all, again, bro, this is what I'm saying. I don't know exactly what he does, but bro is in the fucking high levels of the industry. And he's just walking in there like, yeah, I'm a juggalo. What's going on, guys? And he's still making it work. Now, the reason why I say he's a Psychopathic Records artist, and I don't know that he's actually signed a contract or anything, but you want to know what? He goes out on tour with them pretty much every time. They've done the work together on the tracks, and also with Airheads. They have the Psychopathic Records logo. He wears the charm and represents himself that way. At that point, I don't see how he's not a Psychopathic Records artist. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's also impressive for the fact that he basically just showed up, did his
out
thing,
of nowhere,
and then everybody was like, "Hey, we fuck with this guy. Let's do it." So again, and not for nothing, when I met him briefly in Detroit at Hallowicked, he actually took his charm off, like the fucking diamond-studded shit. He took it off, and I can't remember if he let homeboy put it on or he just let him hold it and look at it. But that's a fucking heavy diamond charm. That's not a lot of people will do some shit like that. And I just like, whether or not you like him, like my whole thing is, bro, I'm not really a big fan of Ouija's music. I was a big fan of fucking Swagtooth, ridiculously big fan of Swagtooth, but that didn't pan out. And I appreciate the music that he makes in the sense that he is exposing it to the younger crowd, or a younger crowd. And there's a lot of OGs that I love, that I respect their opinions, that have told me that Ouija made them feel like the magic was there again. It made them feel like it made them feel like they used to feel. And again, I didn't connect with that music that way, But here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that this is the way that it was. Not everybody connected with ABK either. I did. I was a big fan. Warrior and
No.
Dirty History were fire as far as I'm concerned. Now I'm not a fan of the rest of
Listen,
it.
me
But-
and the one homie, you were talking about homies you can count on your hands that you really trust. I might not have as many as you do, but nonetheless, the one homie I really can, his name is Shay Rankin. He gathers, well, at least the last 7, 8 years or whatever.
Right.
Like, me and that dude separated. Like, we went separate ways in our lives. I mean, still kind of talked a little online, but pretty much just separated, we started living our lives. I get a hold of him, like, 3 years later with a pregnant baby mama talking about I got nowhere to go, right? And this man is like, all right, all I got is a trailer, but you're my homie. Come on. And we go there,
bro,
and he sets me down.
I've given the couch to many motherfuckers in the past.
Listen, he sets me down, and he goes, homie, I just heard this song, and it made me think of you. It was ABK Peace Pipe. So even with the split, I don't give a fuck. I'll always listen to that song.
No, listen, bro, let me tell you something. I still regularly listen to Lotus. About once a year, I'll go back through the old Twisted albums just because it's kind of like going through the motions, like practicing an old dance routine. I don't fucking know. That was a that was a goofy example. But my point here is that, listen, bro, my thing, I'll keep it 1,000. I do not feel the same way about Twisted that I used to. And maybe it is just the fact that they left. And it's not that, because the beef isn't my thing. If someday Jay decides that he wants to fucking be like, hey, Max, you want to come get down? Then fucking it became my problem. But until then, I was never brought in on any of it. And the fact is that I was there in the culture where, bro, a lot of people do not remember this. There was a time for sure. And anybody saying that this is not true is straight up bullshitting, or they weren't there. There was a time in the culture where the general consensus among juggalos is that Twisted were the ones keeping it real and that ICP was the money machine. That they were just like trying to just make as much money as they could, and the Twisted were the ones that were keeping it real for the culture. That was a thing. It didn't last forever, obviously, because Twisted ended up leaving not much longer after that. But the point is that you can say the Twisted betrayed Psychopathic, and in many ways they did. You could say the Twisted betrayed the Juggalos, and in some ways, yes, they did. But if you are going to tell me that Twisted was not instrumental in building the culture up to what it was, you're out of your mind. The Purple Show alone was one of the most influential things in fucking Juggalo culture at the time. And Born Twisted, same thing. On Big Money Hustlers and Big Money Rustlers, their characters were absolutely iconic. Fucking so many things that, and again, to tell, if you're gonna fucking look me in my face and tell me that Most Tasteless to Abominations was not fire fucking work from them, I'm gonna call you a liar.
Right.
And by the way,
you're just like saying no without at least listening. Or
bro, I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, to say that that Twisted's work from Most Tasteless to Abominations was not fire, I think that does disservice to Insane Clown Posse, because they were a big part in collaborating with them and making their music better. Like, let's be real here. I know motherfuckers want to act nostalgic and hockey masks are cool and whatever, but House of Crazies was garbage, all right? House of Crazies was not fucking good. There was like maybe 3 songs that were decent in all of the albums that they released. And by the way, I was a very, very big Twisted fan. I used to, before I actually learned how to freestyle, I used to spit fucking the verses from Somebody's Dissing You before I started trying to freestyle. And like, I was super down on Twisted, like, for a long time. But then as the time has gone by and I look back at the way that these things went, like, the way that I liken it is Twisted misgraduation. Juggalos are the kids, Twisted is mom, ICP is dad, and Twisted misgraduation. And graduation was the march. Now, granted, it's not as though the Juggalos were always headed for that, but that's the level of significance that it had. And the whole
Okay,
idea
but wait, real quick, because you said that, and we have already got announced Tech Nine. People will say Tech Nine didn't do nothing to try to march.
No, listen. Let me tell you something. Tech Nine is somebody who, listen. Do I think that it would have been fresh if he marched? Yes, absolutely. But you want to know what? You want to know who nobody never fucking pressed for not marching? Jelly Roll. And Jelly Roll has been gang deep in Juggalo culture the whole time.
Or Isham. Didn't Isham not march?
Hey, listen, I'm just going to say this real quick. Isham gets a pass on literally everything.
Okay. Max said Isham gets a pass.
No, listen, and by the way, I didn't make that fucking rule. I didn't make that rule, but I'm sorry. Like, Isham has already had to watch a bunch of white dudes get rich on the fucking thing that he came up with.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he's had to deal with all the difficulty that he has in his life. And still, Juggalos fuck with him, but then Juggalos are also ridiculous and they'll do stupid shit like throw rocks at King Gordy. Like, what the fuck? But the fact is that Isham laid the way. None of this happens without Isham. So as far as I'm concerned, unless he does one of the 3 unforgivables, I don't give a shit, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, I just had to throw it in there for context.
No, I get it, but no, listen, this is what I'm going to tell you. People never pressed Jelly Roll about it because he wasn't famous back then. And guess what? Juggalos didn't fuck with Jelly Roll the same way they fucked with Tech Nine. And so because of that, let me tell you something.
And Juggalos don't fuck with Jelly as much now.
No, certainly not anymore. But the whole thing is, Tech Nine, he was initially, there's no question, he was initially propped up by Juggalos because it's the way Juggalos are. We are rabid fans, and if you say, "Oh, Juggalos, yeah, I fuck with you guys," we'll buy anything.
We're like, ooh.
And so with Tech Nine doing Serial Killer and then Madhouse and going on the Wicked Wonka tour, like, he put himself in front of the crowd. But here's the thing. You can't tell him that he owes the crowd for the crowd liking him. I didn't like Tech Nine because anybody told me to. He raps his ass off. Tech Nine is one of the best rappers that ever fucking lived. That's a fact. Tech Nine, with a skit, not even with a song, with a skit, Tech Nine made me a 10 times better rapper than I was before I heard it. The Welcome to My World skit, he's tapping on his chest, and he goes, "Hit him with the Ruger, now you living off in the river," and he tapped on every syllable. And for whatever reason, I had never thought of it that way. And I used to play the drums as a kid. Like, I learned how to read drum sheet music. And so I learned in that moment that all lyricism is percussive. It's all the same as the snare. Like, it's all like drums. So if you understand rhythm, you can form fit your lyrics to never have that syllable drag where it sounds like you weren't sure how to fit the word in, so you had to stretch it. Like, that's one of the whole things about him is the way that he's a good performer and he's a good rapper. And also, he had Chris Calico and Cuck Calhoun, who were both fucking phenomenal. Oh, and you want to know what? Here's the other part of it that people don't necessarily like to talk about. As we will all recall, forks up, forks down. And so Tech throws forks down. And with that said, Tech is part of of street life. He's a blood. Rogue the 57 like those guys are gangbangers, bro. And so the whole thing is that this is exactly why immediately after the last time this happened, however long ago, fucking like the Tech Nine dropped a verse and basically was like, "Nah, I had to earn the fucking Juggalos' respect. Don't you ever fucking tell me that I owe somebody something." And then ICP came out on stage with him at his show in Detroit. The whole point here is that game recognized game. Tech and ICP absolutely have an understanding. Whether or not they're like, I don't know, those are two big egos right there, but they absolutely have an understanding. And the problem is, the reality is that Juggalos are a lot of Juggalos anyway, are fucking super entitled. They think that they deserve some kind of special recognition for being so fervently protective and involved in this culture, and then it's like you ain't fucking less down because you don't listen as much, you don't go to the shows as often.
I'm more jugged than you are, Max. Nah, really, you're more jugged than me, boy. You got knowledge that I couldn't even trample on, my guy.
Bro, let me tell you something. I said this to some kids at the there was a Ouija Maxxx show in New Hampshire that Fury threw. Shout out to Fury. And fucking, there was a dude that I met there where that was an interesting experience. I offered him a blunt, and he was like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of sick, so I'm not gonna. I thank you though." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool, man. Thank you for not just hitting my blunt and making me sick. Hey,
Yeah.
here's this purple hatchet, man, that I've had in my house for the last 8 years. I don't remember where I got it, but something told me to bring it. Here, you take it." And bro, you would have thought that fucking Zeus floated down from the clouds and handed it to him with the fucking face that he made. He was wearing purple also, but he was a really, really big Ouija Maxxx fan. And he was saying something about how it felt like the music was almost like predicting his life, or was like helping to, or they're not helping to, but like somehow correlating to the things that he was going through. And number one, he may have been using drugs, and I only say that because I've used drugs and had similar experiences. But one of the things that I was telling him at the end of the night was, you have to remember, and I really feel like a lot of juggalos lose this, and that they get too caught in the weeds of trying to be cool and fucking whatever, is that anything that you do as a juggalo, anything that you do, you are contributing to juggalo culture. Because you're a fucking juggalo. They talk about juggalos on the songs all the time. The juggalos are fucking juggalos. We do what the fuck we do, bro. And they can't fucking tell us what to do. They can't control us. That, like, ICP and fucking Ouija and back in the day Twisted or Dark Lotus, they don't fucking control what juggalos do. They can tell juggalos, hey, this is what we want you to do, and some are gonna listen, some aren't. But the fact is, you are helping to create this culture by being a part of it. So when you listen to it, and while you're like, don't get so caught up in like who's like popular and who's not or whatever. If you feel it, then you feel it. That's all that matters. And this is also why I say I'm not huge on Ouija personally, because again, I loved Swagtooth, but somehow his solo shit just didn't hit the same. But the carnival is behind him. That's a fact. Yeah. Whether I or anybody else likes it, the carnival is behind Ouija because juggalos are behind Ouija.
Listen, how you said that, it hit me all in my feels too, because I was one of them. Listen, I've followed the clowns, and let me tell you just real quick a little snippet about me.
Please, go ahead. Bro, I will talk forever, and people.
It's why I've done these interviews. Well, part of the reason why, aside from my love being a juggalo, but so I gatekeeped my own music for 20 years. If the clowns didn't put somebody in front of me, or they didn't play on the radio, I didn't really listen to you. I didn't listen to the underground. And that wasn't fair to a lot of artists. That wasn't fair to myself. Music is literally my soul's just like life juice. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, God, come on. I know exactly what you're saying.
So through misery, pain, even good moments, there's a song for that shit. And so at any rate, I owed it to myself to really get to know and try to meet as many artists as I could and get other people to know them so they ain't in that cycle. But my point in saying that is the last 10 years, the clowns wasn't really putting out a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm just listening to shit on repeat. I didn't listen to a whole lot of underground music, bro. It was radio and clowns. And then when Ouija came in on that Cypher or whatever, and he actually came in before that with a Shaggy song, if I'm correct. Right. I don't want to say the wrong shit, but and then that Cypher, dude, I'm like, this dude is fucking weird, and I love him. And yeah, it lit the spark in me.
Ouija's, like I said, his shit on Swagtooth, bro. It's
Dead York.
You hear a little bit of it on Three-Headed Monster, and well, no, but this is what I'm going to say. Ouija's got bars, bro. Factual Ouija's got bars. But the whole thing is, most of the music that he makes is more about the flow and more about like kind of being more catchy and like.
So then,
yeah, here's the thing. I'm genuinely, like I said, I'm not fucking. It may not be my thing, but I'm not hating on it. The whole thing is,
I don't care. You could tell me you hated him, and I wouldn't like hold it against you.
Oh, no,
Everybody,
listen, bro,
no. I'm saying, I'm saying this to ask something. What I mean is, so then, do you think that he pretty much fucked over Choir Boy?
Okay,
or what would you do in that position?
Here's the problem. This doesn't come up very often. I've had this conversation with a couple of people, and I'm going to tell you straight up and down. Number one, did he fuck over Choir Boy? I'm pretty sure that factually the answer is yes. I don't know exactly what that entails, but Swagtooth never made any like separation announcement. It was just there was Swagtooth, and then suddenly Ouija Mac was on Psychopathic Records. But the whole thing is, I have definitely thought about this because I'll keep it real. I was never, and he was apparently from an area similar or somewhat relative to mine in New Jersey, but I had never seen him at shows. I found Ouija through, I found Mishka, like Twisted would wear Mishka hats. I would buy them. And then when I went on the website, they were like, hey, we got musicians. And I went and looked at it. And Alice Cooper Lettuce from Swagtooth was on there. And I was immediately, he was wearing an Esham shirt. And I was like, no, you just wait a minute. I know how that shit works. But so from there, I was listening to their shit and fucking basically, I don't know how long Ouija has actually been a juggalo. Because the thing is, knowing what I know about him, when you are in certain places, either professional or, I mean, again, Ouija is a gangster. Like an actual gangster. I don't know if people know that. But fucking in certain circles, being a juggalo is just not acceptable. Or at least not acceptable. It's not something that you really talk about because people don't know about it. And what they have heard about it is not particularly good. You have to, not everybody is going to listen to you explain the nuances of the culture when the experience they had was some dude in a Hatchet Man shirt hit on their underage fucking cousin or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the fact is, I don't know exactly how long Ouija has been a juggalo, but I'm going to keep it real.
So there's videos from him being like 16 going to the Gathering type beat. I do believe.
Well, so you know what? See, my thing is, again, I'm not diving into Ouija's history.
Yeah. This ain't that.
No, but listen, if that's true, then I think that this emphasizes my point even more because I'm going to get there. I don't think Choir Boy is a juggalo at all, which more power to him. I think I honestly think he's a cool guy. He's a good father. He makes good music. He has worked in higher levels in music than you could ever fucking imagine. But I don't think he's a juggalo. And so at that point, I've really thought about this, man. Like, if I was in an opportunity like that, in a situation like that, and Violent J basically looked at me and essentially offered me the keys to the kingdom, I don't know if I would fold or not. I don't know. And because the whole thing is, getting an opportunity like that, because let me tell you something, bro. We've seen the videos. Could you imagine the feeling of standing on that Gathering stage, thousands of juggalos out there looking at you, and that's your crowd? Are you telling me that it would be an easy decision to make? Again, my thing is, I don't know who they are as people. I've never met them like that. As far as I know, they're generally decent people, but the fucking stories vary from here to there. And bro, I remember when fucking Dead York came out, and because I'm kind of lame like this, wrote out a whole big long fucking review basically of Dead York and tagged them both in it. They basically got like into an argument on my post, and then I'm pretty sure one of them. And again, when I seen that, it was like, fuck, man, I guess there's trouble in paradise. And then from there, it was just like, again, bro, I really cannot stress enough. Had they kept going, I was like 2 months away from getting a Swagtooth tattoo. I super fucked with them. And I remember, again, not for nothing, this is to Ouija's credit, is I did a show with them as Swagtooth in Brooklyn. With the one time that I met Danny Diablo, who was the fucking man. And I fucking the conversations, first of all, that I had with them were good, but second of all, Scum was playing that show, and I overheard, like I was out smoking weed or doing whatever, and I heard Ouija saying to Scum, "Let's get on a track." And I've heard a million rappers say to a million rappers, "Let's get on a track." And it never happens. It's usually just like a way of saying, "Oh, hey, I fuck with you. I'll see you when I see you." But then,
Right.
Dead York came out, and then not only was fucking Scum on a track, Blazy Dead Homie was on it. And that to me was just the whole thing about Ouija is that, and this is why I would be willing to believe, like you just said, that he was gathering when he was 16 years old. I wasn't familiar with that, but I would believe that it's true because, like, when they eventually, again, with Dead York, they did the, I think Rumors was the video. Ouija was wearing a fucking Sam Hain Witch Killers bandana. Like,
Ouija is one of the only artists. Ouija is one of the only artists that I have.
Les Legs was in that video. The shout out to the homie Les Legs. Like, there were a lot of different times where they did shit where it was definitely like I said, he wore an Esham shirt in the Alice Cooper Lettuce video, and it was like a dog whistle as a juggalo. I was like, oh, wait a minute, there's something going on here. And then right from there, I found Free Will right around the same time, who I also super fuck with. Those guys, like I said, I don't know if they actually represent as juggalos or not. And I say that because I would never speak for another man and say that guy is a fan of that guy, because some people genuinely, you call them a fan, they'll get offended. And so I don't know if they genuinely, because I actually said this in the Painted Ronin, I might be an artist, but I still can be a fan. Like, I'm unapologetically a juggalo. I don't care. I don't care if it makes me look some kind of way. I genuinely fuck with their music on like a deep level. I still listen to it regularly. It might be that I'm mildly autistic and that was the music of my youth, whatever. But it's like, I genuinely, again, the thing with Ouija is that however it happened, bro, it is where it is now. And barring some kind of crazy scandal, and even maybe not that, knowing fucking juggalos, like, he's here. He's going to be doing this shit. And I think that people kind of forget that the whole idea of being a juggalo, like, this is one of the reasons why, because I mean, let's be honest here, Buy or Buy was not awesome. And the Gathering commercials, oh, and it ain't free, so bring your wallet, bitch. That's not awesome either. But you want to know what? Here's the whole thing. As juggalos, you have the choice to engage to whatever level you want. You don't have to buy don't buy the fucking action figures, bitch. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, you don't have to buy the merch. You don't have to, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not officially advocating for sneaking.
Well, you mean I'm not supposed to buy this motherfucker?
No, listen. They have several very fresh action figures. But no, listen.
Yes, they do.
Insane Clown Posse, not me. Insane Clown Posse has said, just sneak in if you can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
And fucking, I'm going to tell you from experience of gathering for many years, it's not hard. You don't even have to fucking cut a hole in the fence. You just have to wait until they are checking somebody's cooler, and then you just walk past them. They don't care. Like, the fact of the matter is, the gathering, like, you can do it whatever way you want it. You can buy all the merch. You can buy none of it. You can go to a show. You can go to no shows. You can go to every show. You can gather. You can fucking spin the wheel. You cannot spin the wheel. You can show your butthole. You don't have to show your butthole. Frankly, people ask me to show my butthole. I tell them no. Like, sorry, bro. I fucking got my stripes in. I'm grandfathered in. I ain't got to do that shit. Maybe if I get fucked up enough and you catch me at a different moment, I might consider it. But otherwise, that's not my thing. And again, people think that there's some right way to do it. Bro, the fact of the matter is, we just do shit and then it becomes part of it. That's just it. Like, bro,
we're just trying to keep it alive. For 4 days, we get pure, unadulterated freedom to be whoever we want to be, do whatever we want to do within reason. And
here's the problem. Within reason is debatable because I've seen a lot of unreasonable. I've seen a lot of unreasonable.
Allegedly, Max. Allegedly, within reason.
That's purely speculation. Bro. The whole thing is that the gathering has genuinely become, because we don't get a tour every year like we used to. The gathering has become a central part of the culture in a way that it wasn't always like that. It was a big part of it, but it wasn't like the one and only chance that people were going to get to fucking see their homies and shit. But the whole thing, bro, is that so many people get so caught up in the fucking politics and the drama of the scene. Like, I swear to God, I do my best to, like, I don't watch interviews. I don't know who's working the merch booth. I don't know who's in the fucking clown masks spraying Fago. I don't know who's driving the bus. I don't know nobody in the back. I don't know nobody fucking important. I'm just there. I'm just fucking hanging. And so many people are so caught up in wanting to be somebody that's popular. And again, bro, I swear to God, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Unless you are actually part of the tour, and even then, sometimes if people don't really know who you are,
right?
When you go to a show, you're going to see your homies. You might meet some people depending on the way you live your life. But outside of that, there is no such thing as you show up like, oh, bro, that's such and such. Nah, man. That's fucking juggalos. Like, real juggalos don't want no picture. They just walk back like, what up, ninja? They don't give a fuck. I'm so tired of people thinking that there's some right way to do this when literally the whole point of it was that, hey, these guys' music is pretty cool, right? Yeah. All right. So we're all going to hang out. We can listen to it. And then in between that, we can get high and say stupid shit. And then it'll become part of the culture. Like, again, there is so much shit that is fully part of Juggalo culture that just, I mean, again, somebody was trying to tell me you can't say jug, like you can't abbreviate it. Like,
what?
There's only one way. Oh, wait,
who the fuck are you? Nobody. There ain't nobody that makes. I mean, people, as you say, try to make rules.
There's a specific way to say the word that was made up out of nowhere.
Right.
Like, the whole thing is, you can technically say it however you want, as long as the feeling is still there. And again, it's people fucking forget that, like, there's no right way to jug. Do you want to know why? Because literally whatever you do is part of fucking Juggalo culture.
Right.
Like, that's a fact.
All right, but you can't snub me when I try to get that picture at Got Jay this year.
What do you mean? First of all, if I snubbed you just didn't get your camera out in time. Because I don't never tell nobody else.
Yeah. Dude, you've given me an hour just bullshitting. I don't want to put no interview above another. I've done 118 interviews with fucking family, with homies, but this one has been particularly interesting and different. So I'm gonna cut you off and ask you one of my questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, listen, bro. Again, this is the problem. I just talk and talk and talk, and then nobody ever interrupts me.
Bro, I will too. That's what I'm saying. You obviously have knowledge that I don't know some stuff, so I'm always eager to learn and further educate myself, on the culture. And everything you said is facts, man. I can't call bullshit on one thing you've said. So, I mean, yeah. But anyways, what inspired you to make music? What was the switch that said, hey, I think I can do this and I want to actually apply myself?
All right. Well, so I started making music because the year the Columbine happened, in my town, they thought I was going to be the guy, even though I had no access to guns and no history of violence. But I basically, it was a whole fucking situation at the school. And my father gave me a suggestion and basically said, just make a song or write a story or whatever and kill them in there. You can't get in trouble for that. And granted, nowadays you probably would, but back then it was whatever. And so I started writing and eventually recorded Class Time Horror. But basically I started doing it because I just wanted to try doing it. And I had rapped around people, like I had freestyled around people and shit. And people told me that my shit was dope. And again, I can hear how people rap and I can hear how I rap. So I knew that I actually had some skill. And fucking really the moment when I decided I was going to do it for real is when I got flown out to Michigan and recorded the Lotus Pod. Like, that was a moment where, I mean, again, I don't know if you're familiar with the story specifically, but the short version is that Jay heard a song that I made, or I met Low Key at the Gathering in 2004. And so then made a song. The day Hell's Pit came out, he heard it on Hatchet Radio, and ended up getting in touch with me, flew me out to Michigan. We remade the song that he heard, and it was like basically he was scouting me. Nothing ever came of it. But at that point, I was like, again, I've been talking about this a little bit lately, but like the most famous man on the planet in my mind, which again, whatever, it's my own perception. Oh shit. It's my own perception, but the most famous man on the planet, in my experience, called me at my house and said, hey, the thing that you do is what I do, and I like what you do, so come out here, I'll pay for it, and we'll see if we can do something. And that alone is crazy as fuck. But this was also immediately following the end of the fucking Joker's card saga. We didn't know what the fuck was about to happen. So,
right.
And then again, almost immediately after that, I'm smoking a blunt at fucking Violent J's kitchen table, looking at the ultrasound of his firstborn son sitting on the table. Like,
right.
It was fucking crazy. And again, I know why it didn't work out, or at least I have several different theories, but realistically, I was a child. We did not have that much, like, we didn't really gel. You know, like, again, I got skill, but I was just a fucking kid. I was a white kid from the suburbs. I was not somebody that he was going to resonate with, really, because we had very different life experiences. And whatever it is, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. The fact is that it wasn't supposed to happen. But now that I'm here at this point, like, I mean, again, it was just that experience basically said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And number one, that's what happened. But then number two, there have been some very difficult times, but I've had some pretty fucking incredible experiences in my life. And I have had the number of people, I've literally lost track, the number of people that have told me how many, the amount of people that have told me that they heard my music and it changed their life for the better or even saved their life. So many fucking people have told me that shit over the years. And every month or two, a new comment comes in on either YouTube or like Instagram or whatever. And someone's like, oh yeah, I remember listening to your shit back in high school and it really like helping with what I was dealing with. Something like that happens all the fucking time. And I just, at that point, it feels like a fucking responsibility. Because, bro, I'll tell you right now, if it came down to fucking how much money I was making or how much like juice I got in the industry or how much fucking pull I have as an artist, fucking, this is not it, bro. You only do this shit if you love it for fucking real. And like, I mean, that's really where I'm always at with all of it. Because being a juggalo is something that basically not only exposed me to a side of the world I otherwise might not have seen, but it helped give me perspective on a side of the world I stumbled into through music, aka gangbanging, because I hung with some people that were I was singing forks up, forks down for fucking years before I knew what it meant. And then I start hanging with people that are throwing that shit up and down, and I'm like, oh wait, what's all this then? They're like, gangbanging culture is heavily spiritual. It's heavily fucking guarded information. And like juggalo shit, I remember at the fucking 2004 gathering, I walked up, I think it was Rudy was having a DJ party at the main stage, and I think there might have even been a fire, and there was some chick that was stacking, and fucking she was a Crip, and she said something, I'm not going to say the word that she said, but I was like, she said that the only problem was all the such and suches that were around, and what she was saying was dudes wearing red bandanas or anybody wearing red bandanas because she was a Crip. But again, clown love. Like that was, and this was a white chick, I think from Chicago. I could be wrong, but like the idea that this culture it touches and connects so many different nodes of society that otherwise would never fucking come together at all. Like
Absolutely.
it really is remarkable. But no, hey, ask more questions if you got them. Because again, I will just keep going.
I got a whole book full. I've just been letting you
go. Bring it on. I ain't got nowhere to go.
Okay. So aside from the obvious that's coming up in 2 months, we're not quite to that question yet. But are there any current projects in the works? Like, what's next? You working on any albums, songs? Are you doing any tours or any shows that people can find you at before the gathering?
For sure. I do got some, I'm doing some writing. I got some tracks that I'm working on. Just got to get some shit recorded. But I'm always kind of trying to work steadily, even if not slowly. But the actual next project, I do have the name for it and I do have the concept for it, but I don't want to go in depth on that right now. I've already been very long-winded, so I don't want to get too in the weeds, but it's going to be very the aesthetic is going to be very old school, and it's going to be very like graphic. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for very intense and graphic. But it's not just for the sake of being intense and graphic, but it fits into the concept of the project itself. But so I'm still working on fleshing all of that out specifically.
Yep.
I do, however, have a few singles. I just came up with a concept of something that I would like to do, potentially for the gathering specifically. But it's just like a twinkle in my eye for right now. If I can make something happen real quick, and sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. If I can make it happen, it's going to be fresh, but it also will rely on some other external factors. So, point is, new project, if not by Halloween, by the fall. You know what I mean? Like that was why Halloween is over ended up being what it was, because it went past Halloween. But yeah, that's a fall project. For sure. And I got some shows.
Absolutely.
I have to check the schedule, but I know.
You just done one in Worcester. I can't say the damn word right. I watched it on Evil Cook's live stream.
Welcome to Worcester. $1.25, please. No, so no, that was a good show. That definitely Clockwork brought a dope crowd. They definitely made it happen over there. So I am doing another show with Zach Pacillo or Pacillo. I'm not exactly sure.
Pacillo, that's the homie.
I figured that's probably what it was. I was gonna say he looked Italian, but fucking the Spamily shit. They're doing another one in Maine, July 25th, and I believe, if I recall correctly, somebody was discussing with me another show in New York the next day, which is possible, but we're still kind of working that out. We'll see what happens. And then I also, before that, I'm playing Nails Fest in, I have to look at the address again on the flyer. I believe that it is in New Hampshire, but it's going to be a lot of the Terminology is going to be there. Triple MFD is going to be there. Shout out to fucking Scum and Psycho.
Let's go. Insane. Yeah.
Problematic was going to be there. I guess he's not now. Payn, Payn, he's going to be there. Anyways, a lot of, it's going down.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And then, I don't know. There's some other shit going on. I'm not actually booked on Lethal Weekend as of now. I might just show up. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
You stay pretty up to date on your socials, posting your shows and whatnot.
Well, I go back and forth. I go back and forth between being chronically online and then just leaving social media for 4 months at a time.
Right. I get it. What's your favorite song of yours, or at least one song of yours that you would say is your favorite that means something personally to you? And then, not to elaborate too much, what's one song that you would suggest to somebody just trying to find your music? So you're trying to get them hip to your shit. Is it going to be the same favorite song, or is it different from your favorite song that means something to you?
So this is what I'm going to tell you. The song that I have made, and I actually have been for a long time planning on remaking it officially because the original version is technically a cover song. It's on a stolen beat from Fort Minor. But so the one song that I have made that I think I could perform for any person on the planet and they would be able to appreciate it is Lepke, the song that is about my grandfather's experience in the Holocaust. Or at a bare minimum, the way that the story as it was relayed to me, because certain parts of the story are strange. Like my father wrote the story and he was obviously writing it from my grandfather had died 10 fucking 15 years earlier, whatever it was. And well, not 15, but probably closer to 10. And but like there's one part where like the way he threw a grenade. If you ever listen to the song, you hear that part. Thank you, homie. I'm still here. I appreciate that. I like the video for that one too. I got a story about that in a second. But Lepke is the song, and again, I do need to remake it because it's on the beat for Kenji from Fort Minor, Mike Shinoda. So I do need to do that, but that is the one song that I have made that I think that I could perform for anybody. And just based on if you actually are listening, and I enunciate pretty well, so people understand usually what I'm saying. If you really listen to the lyrics, again, it's a pretty fucking crazy story. And again, it's my history. Fucking, and then the punchline to that is that the kid that introduced me to fucking juggalo shit, I met in Hebrew school. So listen, Apollon, I'm just going to tell you right now, I could never get the vocals to that song because may he rest in peace. Bob Brazy, the kid that fucking recorded that track, passed back in 2021. And we were talking about this the other day during a memorial for his birthday. His computer was so legendarily messy, like trying to find files and shit, we'd never be able to do it. So if you wanted to do something again, bro, listen, we had already talked and I know that you've been very busy and there's all kinds of shit going on. Listen, the way that I work, genuinely, if you just make a bunch of shit and send it to me and give me something to like roll through, I'm going to find something and I'm going to make something dope out of it. That's like 90% of what I've done. And as far as is something that like getting hip to me, here's the thing. I think my definitive album is Kaleidoscope. However, I'd like to posit something that is, again, it's crazy, but it's true. No, positive is the wrong word. I'd like to present something that
I got you.
No, fair enough. I'm fucking the Jewish grammar Nazi. In any case, God damn it! Now I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Oh, I'm the best. God damn it! What was I talking about?
We were talking about this song.
Oh well, no. I remember exactly what I was going to say. So whatever it is anybody thinks of me, whatever, I would not say whether or not I have any status or whatever, how people perceive me. That's not my decision. That's up to them. But whatever it is you do think of me, whatever status you assign to me, in 2024, it was the very first time in my entire career, and it was only 4 songs long, I will remind you, but Dirtcore 24 was the first time that an entire project, the beats were only mine, and the producer, the engineer, Crossworm, had full access to the stems and vocal files so as to properly mix and master it. The only other time there was anything close to that was, and yes, Brian, I will, was Where the Wild Things Are. And in that case, I didn't have the stems. I just had the wave files. So they were high quality, but they weren't, I couldn't break them apart. And the guy I was working for, Carl Hovajimian, he was Deep Blue in Worcester, really great fucking producer. He was able to manipulate the beats so well that album came out sounding as well as it did. And so I think as my albums go, I think it goes Kaleidoscope and then Where the Wild Things Are. Some people might flip that. But Where the Wild Things Are, again, they were leases technically. Now I don't know that fucking Tristan on the Track is ever going to sweat me about it. I haven't really, I don't think that they've ever passed the number that the lease agreed. But number one, those things are always negotiable, and number two, I was 20 years in before I made a project that I had full control and access over. Because again, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I don't know how to do this shit like a rapper. I just know how to make it, put it out, and then there it is. That's all I got going for me. And I hope eventually I figure out how to do it differently.
Shut up. Sorry, my dog, not you.
No, you want to know what? I know. Listen, bro. I'm telling you right now. You just said what 15 people watching the show are thinking. So don't worry about it.
No. That's great.
No,
my dog is literally whining in my ear.
No, fair enough. But no, I will say Dirtcore 24 is a short album, 4 songs long. I think it's a good representation of what I'm doing. I think Kaleidoscope is the best representation of me as an artist over the years. And it was Who Saw Me Today. I
don't know if they're talking about you or me. Leighton.
I was about to say, I don't know, man. Fucking if people are watching me fucking drive to and from work. Anyway, we won't go into that. Honestly, bro, as far as what I think that my music has, generally speaking, aged well for the fact that, okay, there it is. Thank God. He's not hiding in the bushes. So, interesting story. In the absence of Sanity, aside from one song, which was Afraid, every song was recorded in an official recording studio. One was even, My Saving Grace was recorded in an analog recording studio, reel-to-reel. But so I think sonically that's why they still sound good, and it was a very high quality version that I uploaded. But if you listen to my music going back long enough, it becomes very apparent that again, I didn't say a lot of Juggalo shit, but yes, I was a Juggalo rapper for sure the whole time. I was making songs about fucking Resident Evil, bro. I was just doing whatever. And that's always been my big thing about Juggalo music, is that what makes Juggalo music, really, in my opinion, is originality and skill to a certain extent. Because if it's worth listening to, it's not going to sound like you're struggling to write a rhyme or deliver one. But then also there is some level of diversity to the music that you make. That's the best Juggalo shit. Juggalo shit that is worth listening to is something that has an original concept. Oh, and here's the other part: there's humor. I never did a lot of humor in my music, but I think that Juggalo shit, the humor aspect is very important. But nah, man, this is a very interesting scene. I don't really. Most of what I listen to is stand-up comedy and Wi-Fi and lo-fi. So I don't really there are albums, one of the main albums that I listen to when I do finally decide to listen to a rap album is Leak Brothers by Cage and Tame One. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's an entire album about smoking PCP, and listen, here's the thing. Fair enough. That's some New Jersey shit. And he talks about being in New Jersey a lot in the album. But the shit that I do is very niche and very underground, and that's why it's always kind of stayed that way. But I think that again, if you listen to it, you'll see that there always has essentially been lyrical skill, even though some songs. Do you
think you have an equal stage performance as you do in a recording studio?
100%. And I don't say that.
Some artists just suck live.
Oh no,
and
listen, bro.
some are great.
There are some people that are so good live that it makes up for the fact that their live
Exactly.
recording is
Yes.
terrible.
Yes, their
Like
presentation, they get out there, they're moving, they're getting the amp. Yes, I think that can go so far.
I had an experience once when I was living in Philadelphia. I met a dude, and it was at that point recording in the house was pretty cheap, so everybody was doing it. And this dude, I had heard him spit this verse, and it was fire. He kept the same rhyme scheme the whole way through, and the punchlines were nasty. Like, it was really good. But then I heard a few days later they recorded it on Bro's equipment, and it didn't even sound like the same verse. Like, he could not ride the beat the same way. And it just speaks to the fucking intricacies of actually being able to rap. It is pretty fucking difficult to do. But
right.
Either way, I think that there's a lot of talent in the Juggalo world. I've met and seen a lot of Juggalo acts that actually do have skill. The problem is, a lot of times people kind of get caught up in the hype of it, and they don't recognize that they need to, like, try to do things differently and try. Like, even myself, I've had to learn how to, like, I rehearse the shit talking in between songs now. I used to never do that. But if you don't do that, you may end up tripping over the shit that you were trying to say. And especially if you look at the more professional acts and the ones that are more successful anyway, there is always a certain aspect of, like, choreography or blocking or planning that goes into the performance, as opposed to just getting on stage and, spitting and killing your verse.
Right, so, just like, whatever on a whim.
There needs to be some aspect of, like, evolution of performance. And It's like, I mean, again, I think that this scene, there really is a lot of talent, and there really is a lot of people that have been doing it for a really long time. And it's another one of the reasons why I have so much respect for it, why I'm so glad to be part of it, is because people have been doing this shit for such a long time. Like, other people.
And speaking of that, let me just add another question in there, and you can just keep going. So this question is kind of like, so you've been in the music scene for roughly about 20 years on and off, right? Is that correct?
Well, so 21 and on and off, in the sense that I have always consistently recorded and released something every year or so, but I haven't always put projects out. It's taken a long time to do that in some cases. So there is some truth to that. But yeah, 21 years. 2004 is when I would say I started officially.
All right, and you've told me it's not even about the money. It's you enjoy it. It's about the culture.
Better not be. Holy shit!
Right. So I need to ask, how, or like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's the 5-year game plan with this? Obviously, you I don't know, and I guess I could tie the next question into it, but it's its own freaking entity. But
I got you. Well, listen, I'll tell you right now. Within the next 5 years, depending on how many credits I actually have that will transfer, I will either almost be done with or already have my bachelor's and or master's in psychology and mental health counseling, because that is what I plan to do as a career. As far as music,
you're gonna be a doctor. Music is really just your side thing for the culture.
Oh my god, that's so funny. So no, I don't think that I'm going to be a doctor. Getting a doctorate in psychology, I don't even know if this fucking school offers it. But no, bro, you have to understand something. Being a juggalo and making music has always been and will always be my life in some way or another. I will always feel the need, the pull to make songs. And fortunately enough, I was going to say, like, it's sitting up there. I think I've got the equipment to do it. I can get raw vocals that sound good. Crossworm and I, Dirtcore, we're going to be working together pretty much forever, as far as I can tell. And I can just, all I need is beats. And even if not, I can just record to a metronome, send it to Crossworm.
Here, let me backstep. Are you on a label? Do you have your own label? Yeah. Is there a plan for an LLC?
Dirtcore.
Dirtcore is your label. So
Well,
I will,
Dirtcore is right.
admitting,
Dirtcore
I will.
is Crossworm's label, and I am on it. What I will say, you can. Oh, hold on. No, you don't. You see this right here? That's Underground Sound. So there is some history to that, but the short version is that it was a label that was run out of Plymouth, Massachusetts. There were two different acts on it: Outland Camp and Weird Die Young. The both of them have Weird Die Young stopped making music entirely, as far as I know. That's how it's going to stay. Outland Camp has changed their lineup a few times. People have come, people have left. I believe they are still technically active right now. I think it should be Johnny Jenkins, P. Crack, Krill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, formerly Earthworm Slim. He don't go by that no more. And I cannot remember if anybody else is currently active in the group other than them, but they were doing Underground Sound, and then eventually, again, they all just kind of were going inactive, and I was very close with Reverend Television / Spooky Diddlefingers of Weird Die Young, and he was the one who ran the business side of it for the most part. And I always really fucked with their aesthetic and their like swagger, really. And like the thing, I don't know if you ever seen this. I'm gonna see if I can fucking. I don't know. I don't know if you can read that.
We can go, if something, yeah, you can start to read it.
If hip hop is dead, we are the zombies. And so the idea of a hip hop zombie was something that I don't remember if Derek was actually the one who specifically came up with it, but like basically when I first moved out to Massachusetts and I was making music with people who were juggalos, which all these guys are, these were guys who had their own swagger and came up with their own inside shit. And they were like, it's corny as fuck to say whoop whoop on a track. Like, you're not on Psychopathic. Why are you doing that? And so that was the kind of vibe that I came up with on these guys. And then when they stopped doing it, basically Derek was, 50 was talking about trying to keep it moving. And I always fucked with the crew. I always fucked with what they did, and I wanted to keep it going. And so I basically took it over. And Derek and I have done all kinds of shit together. We did the Carnival Grounds podcast, which we still need to finish. We've done any number of different songs together. He's done all kinds of shit. He hyped for me at the Gathering in 22 when I performed. And he's genuinely one of my best friends. He's helped me off. He's talked me off the ledge any number of different times. I genuinely, I'm blessed to have a friend like him. And he was the one that came up with this, but this is basically like my entity, essentially. Because again, between Derek and I, we were the ones that wanted to keep it going. And I honestly, there's a lot of depth to me, the idea of a hip hop zombie. I think I represent the idea of a hip hop zombie very well. We move very slowly, but if we get close enough to it, we get a hold of you, you're with us for life. That's it.
Right.
And there's again, we move slowly, but we always fucking get there. And hip hop might be this totally different thing, but I mean, I'm still doing it exactly the same way I ever have. And again, I've been saying this to people. I'm not the kind of person that when somebody tells me they like my music, I'm like, fuck yeah, I know my shit is dope, right? It's always like, oh shit, really? Fuck, thanks, man. Like that's great news. I was worried because every time I finish writing a song, I'm like, oh fuck, do I still know how to do this? And then I feel that way until the next song gets written.
It's cool to stay grounded and humble, and it probably helps push you and make good shit.
Yeah, I try as much as possible. Lord knows I'm as fucking flawed as the rest, but I definitely do my best to fucking stay on point and stay solid as much as possible.
Absolutely. So my next question I've been itching to ask, and you just mentioned something about it, and we've danced around it kind of this whole time. Obviously, you were playing the Gathering. I normally ask the question, have you played the Gathering or been to any, and how many times on both accords? So you just mentioned that you played the Gathering once before, at least once before, but let's elaborate a little bit. So how many gatherings have you attended, and how many have you played at?
So I believe I did actually mention this earlier, but so the first gathering that I attended, 2003, I went to 2003, 2004, 2006, 2008. That was the year that I performed for the first time. I performed as Madd Maxxx. They actually gave me the option, do you want to play at night or do you want to play during the day? And me being the fucking idiot that I was that hadn't gathered a Cave in Rock yet, I was like, oh, I'm going to play during the day. People will be awake. People will be more, around. No. Cave in Rock was, especially not, I played on fucking day 3. Day 3 in the daytime at Cave in Rock. Are you fucking, yes, you are high right now. If it was day 3 at Cave in Rock during the day and you were on the ground. But the fact of the matter is, people showed up. There were people that were there. There were friends, there were homies, there were
right.
but I didn't know. I could have gotten the nighttime slot, which again, that was love, but that was also the year they filmed The Family Underground. So my name is in the credits on that. Then the second time that I played the gathering, it was not for me. It was with Murder Music. That was at Oklahoma City. I believe that was 2017 or 18. I can't remember. Worst gathering of all time, in my opinion. Then I went to 2016. I didn't play that one, but I was at 2016 for the Wizard gathering, which I still can't believe I even got to that gathering because I was married at the time. And I mean, Lord knows at this point what fucking that was about. She let me go. Who knows? But the Wizard, that was a thing where I don't even try to be like, I don't even try to be a dick about it, but like, oh man, that is for sure one of the things. Although, what I was going to say is, if you missed that, you fucking missed it. But here's the other part, because the carnival likes to fucking pie your face every once in a while. And because I was married at the time, and a friend of mine, again, 50, Derek, was talking about he wanted to go home early, I basically was like, oh, well, I've seen ICP so many times. I'll see them again. We can go home early. It's no big deal. And they played the fucking unveiling at the end of their set. And that literally was just like, and especially because then eventually when I saw them doing Oklahoma City, no, I know, seriously, it was just when I found that out, because I'll tell you right now, if that had happened and I had been there for it, I would have been in there weeping like a fucking child. Like, that would have just been, and again, for the fact that when I did finally see it, the performance was like, I wasn't very happy about their performance at Oklahoma City. So by the time that song was being done, I was just kind of like salted. But I was also going through a lot of shit in my life that had a lot to do with my mental state. But so then after Oklahoma City, I didn't gather again, I think, until 2021. And then it's been 2021. I played again in 2022. And then I went again. I went in 2023, which was one of the best gatherings I've ever been to. Vibes were heavily on point that year. And I did not perform on my own, but I did have people bring me up on stage with them. The homie Freeze Martian from Connecticut, he did a song. He had me do a song with him and Fury, I believe. And I also perform with Tier Diaz, as I usually do when we're in the house together. Fucking on the second stage, which I have a good picture of. This is, and again, I just want to preface this happened in 2023. So I allegedly had some MDMA in my system, and fucking, I basically was trying to get from my car back to the grounds because it was time for Tier Diaz's set. And he had also asked me to go out and get slacks, shoes, and a button-down shirt because it was going to be for the performance. And so I was wearing that, and again, rolling my face off and fucking sweating through this shirt. But then, this is the best part, my homie, or no, it was not that this was how it ended up panning out. I went back to my car to get my machete because I do sometimes bring it on stage with me. Same as I bring my katana on stage sometimes. It's just what I do. And so I'm walking with my machete up to the fucking entrance of the gathering, rolling my face off, sweating through a button-down shirt, like, I need to get inside. And then he's like, I can't let you walk
No.
in with a machete, bro. And I was like, oh, well, but so I'm performing. And he's like, oh, well, someone's going to have to come and get you. And it was like, it wasn't that kind of set. He was just bringing me up on stage. I wasn't officially part of the performance. They, you know what I'm saying? They weren't going to send a golf cart. So I was like, fuck, all right, fine. I'm not going to miss the performance for this. So I run back to my car, put it back in. Took me a long time to fucking find my car, but got back on time. And then because the carnival provides, fucking my homie Aaron, when I got to the stage, I was like, oh shit, man. Yeah, I tried to bring my machete and they told me fucking I couldn't bring it in. And so he's like, oh, here, you want this one? And there's I have to find it, but there's a picture of that performance where I just, it's a good one, but I also just look at it where, like, you know, rolling tits with a machete on stage, sweating my fucking face off, in a button-down shirt that I bought from Walmart that day, spitting on the fucking second stage with my boy that I've been rapping with since fucking, Jesus. What year did I even meet him? Because my son was born in 2010, and I think that so it probably wasn't 2010. So that's 15 years I've known Tierre, and that would have been, I guess, 13 then. And fucking just like, because, and again, if you look at what Tierre Diaz has done, like in working with Psychopathic and fucking carving his path as an actor, like, it's crazy having worked with all these different people over the years, and like, because again, Juggalo culture, Tierre Diaz is straight as a fucking arrow, bro. He is sober. He does not drink. He does not smoke. He does nothing. He never has.
He hit a balloon once.
You know what? He may have tried it. He didn't like it. Bro,
no.
Here's the thing.
I don't know facts on that. That was bullshit.
If he wanted to do drugs, he was around the right fucking guy. He's not into it. And my point in saying that is that people try to act like Juggalo culture is just this fucking drug fest when somebody like Tierre Diaz, who does not do drugs at all, feels it the exact same way as I do. Like, we feel this shit for real. And that was like that performance I was supposed to actually perform at, I think it was MC Whore. He had like some outlaw stage he was setting up. He said, and so I was supposed to perform, and I paid him $30, and then I took mushrooms, and I took too many apparently, and I literally, the homie Jess Jekyll was like, yo, Max, it's time to perform. And I just look up at her, I'm like, yeah, I can't stand right now. So I'm just gonna, you know what? If you can find him, you let him know. I'm real sorry, but I cannot get up right now. And fucking, oh man, I don't know who was playing second stage, but it was some insane metal band. I don't think it was Necrogoblicon, but I mean, it could have been, I guess. Whoever it was, I'm amazed it didn't send me into a bad trip. That's the kind of crazy ass music it was. But like, being around Juggalos, bro, is a thing where, I'm sorry, but the gathering is not the same as other music festivals in the sense of like, you can take mushrooms or acid or DMT at fucking Bonnaroo or Electric Forest or whatever, and you can have a profound experience and you can experience the oneness of the universe and whatever. But the gathering of the Juggalos is definitely a place that can show you a lot of different truths about the universe that you probably would not have seen otherwise. You will see experience, like, because here's the thing. It always kind of was weird to me that they tried to promote the idea that no fights happen at the gathering. Like, all of the bullshit I am calling, that's not true. And the whole thing is, it's not particularly violent, and a lot of the time it's only dumb motherfuckers that do dumb shit that end up catching it, i.e. Juggalo justice. But the fact is that Juggalos, first of all, tend to self-regulate. Like, we don't want the fucking cops showing up, so we just take care of shit ourselves. And
Right.
juggalos are like, for the most part, again, we're all fucking wild, fucking mentally ill, drug doing degenerates, but we do have an honor code and we do have a code of behavior. And fucking that thing is, we've seen it happen over time 1,000 times, where we'll be somewhere, do something, and then people will see us and then they'll be like, oh yeah, compared to these other guys, you guys are fucking fantastic. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, juggalos weren't the ones that damaged the fucking dinosaurs at Legend Valley. That was fucking ravers and shit. Like,
Right. Yeah.
juggalos are ridiculous motherfuckers for sure, but we act like we've been there for the most part. And if somebody is wilding out, usually their homie or somebody with the balls to step to somebody that they don't know is gonna shut the shit down and get it taken care of.
They're gonna
And,
be like, oh, wait a minute, yo, no, come on now. Yeah, it's usually gets squashed unless it's something really like raw.
So that's kind of my point, is that it doesn't usually turn into craziness. Although I will say, if I recall correctly, I heard a story of a brawl in 2016 where somebody actually may have been attacked with a rubber mallet. And I don't know what you know about a rubber mallet, but you can rock a motherfucker's world with one of those. So I don't know if that happened for sure. That's unverified. Just like a lot of things are unverified about the gathering. But the whole thing is, put it to you like this. I believe that generally speaking, the gathering is a safe place. If you are there for the right reasons, if you are not a piece of shit, and this is a really important one, if you sell drugs that are not tainted or bunked. Because that shit historically at the gathering does not go over well.
Yeah, no,
I don't sell drugs. I have nothing to do with that world. But from what I have heard over the years, people that get caught up on fucking bunking dirty drugs have a real bad time.
Do keep that in mind. Any lurkers or creepers that possibly come watch this video, fuck your fentanyl.
That's for real. That was some of the realest shit Ouija ever did, by the way, was when Juggalo Jesus, may he rest in peace, died at the 23 gathering. And the first thing that Ouija said, I think it was either after the first song or as soon as he got on stage, like the first thing he said was fuck fentanyl. So, you know, I don't know his actual, like, you know, I don't know his involvement with drugs specifically, but the fact that he did that, I always thought that was fucking real. But yeah, no, exactly that. And I mean, here's the thing. I think that it doesn't usually happen that way because juggalos, the reason there was apparently some fucking magazine or website, who knows, they did a survey where they sent their people to a bunch of different festivals and shit. And juggalos across the board had the cleanest drugs. And the reason for that is because the guy selling it to you is doing it. And
right, he's a homie. He's trying to just have a good time. Usually.
Exactly. Like, the idea, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there aren't people that go to the gathering to hustle. Guaranteed there are. But for the most part, exactly, the homie that wants some shit for himself has it. And so that's how he knows it's good, because if it wasn't good, he wouldn't have bought it. And
listen, I'm not even gonna lie. Last year at the gathering, I'm standing up at main stage. It ain't like the main performances. It's just somebody's up there. I don't remember who or whatever. It was a decent show. I think it was like maybe like right before Kim Dracula. I don't know who played before Kim Dracula. But at any rate, I'm up there and I'm just standing there. It was like the one time I didn't bring my own fucking weed with me up there. You know, I left it back at camp, or I don't even know what the hell I was thinking.
Right.
And I'm literally standing there like, man, I want to get high. But you have heard, you know, a time or two of some shit being passed that might not have been what you thought, possibly not. And so I'm just like, fuck.
I mean, let's be real. Most of the time you can smell it. If it's something real fucky, you can smell it.
Right. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden here comes this joint just right in front of me. And I'm like, and then I'm like, man, well, I don't want to act like a lame and like not hit it, but I don't want to just blindly hit it. I don't even really look at dude, right? So I do the whole little blow through hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I look back, and it's
That's
my
funny.
fucking homie, and I'm like, oh my god! And I told him right there, I'm like, I was about to dodge you, man. I didn't know, but you came right in time.
That actually reminds me. I think it was at the 2016 gathering. And again, the 2016 gathering, weed was legal in a few places. It was definitely medicinal in a bunch of places. So better weed was showing up. And so I swear to God, I kept this shit for so long. I found a dude selling nickel bags of swag at the gathering. And it was just like, oh, this shit brings me back to my childhood, bro. It was the kind that it was like cut into a triangle and the edges were burnt shut. And you could see the seeds and the stems poking through it. Like, it's just, I kept that shit not to even smoke it. I just bought it because I was like, why the fuck is this even here? Who would bring this? Like, a juggalo will let you hit their joint. You don't need to buy this. Like,
Right.
The gathering is just a place where goofy shit happens. And you just kind of like, there, look at that. And then you just keep it moving. Like, because again, what the fuck are you going to do? Try to make sense of it? What are you going to walk around the gathering and try to make sense of the shit that you see? That sounds like a losing battle.
Right. Oh God.
Yeah. No, it's man. I remember. You know, you don't see as much anymore. You used to see this more in the early days. You don't see it as often anymore. Is some chick, and the naked part's not that crazy because lots of chicks do that now. But there used to always be a chick that had everybody sign her with a Sharpie until basically just her whole skin was blotchy,
covered,
like black splotches because she had been sweaty and doing whatever other horrible shit she was doing. But
yeah,
you don't see that no more. Nobody does that shit anymore.
No, now it's the ladies with the sign, $5, smack my ass, pinch my nipple.
We need to bring back? You know what we need to bring back? And I think that I actually might try to do it if I will get permission from Rude Boy, because if I don't, he will sue me. Juggalo hardcore tag. You know what that is?
Now I sound like a Jeff. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Well, no, listen, bro. It's one of these kinds of things that not everybody knew about it. Although I will say it was in a family underground. The game of Juggalo hardcore tag that I started was carried on and then happened when the dude got hit with the stop sign. That was part of the same game. Juggalo hardcore tag is basically you go up to a juggalo and then say, hey, if you let me hit you with this, you get to go find somebody else and say, yo, let me hit you with this. And then they let you hit them. And then you give it to them, and then they get to go hit somebody else. And as you go around, sometimes new weapons come up. Like, there was a thing where they were going to I think they actually did even record it, and they had a stun gun, and I pussied out, and I said, yeah, you can stun me on the hand. I should have just been like, fuck it, hit me in the neck. But I was younger. I was not as bold then as I am now. And so it didn't, that didn't end up making the video. The shot that hit was real good, though. That kid fucking wreck his brain. Blam! But nobody does that no more. We need to bring that back. I think that, no, again, bro, the whole thing is
we're going back to the Squid Games, these clicks and sets, and none of that never happened. Allegedly,
listen, bro, that's basically what it is now. Everybody wants to talk about I'm part of camp this or camp that. I'm camp hotel room, motherfucker. I do not care. Genuinely, I've heard people try to tell me like, "Oh, you're a Juff if you gather." All right, bet you feel that way. Sweaty as fucking a tent. All right, I'm gonna be in a fucking room with air conditioning, a locked door, a bathroom, and a fucking blanket. Like, frankly, I was sleeping on a fucking cot in the mosquitoes in 2003. I fucking slept in the rain practically in 2004.
Right. If there's a ever you earned it, you done earned your due for it. I personally can't even afford a motel or an Airbnb.
This is what I will say to that is, although, yes, I do agree, I have earned it. I'm also looking at it like, I think that people that try to say, oh, this is how you need to do it, is just like, I don't need anybody to tell me how to do it, and nobody needs anybody to tell them how to do it. Because again,
Right.
what I genuinely believe about Juggalo culture is that we.
Hey, they. Sorry, I didn't mean to scream. My old lady came in. I'm gonna mute it for just a second. You can
Oh,
keep.
nah, you good, bro? Do your thing.
All right, now you're good. I started to yell again, like blare your ears or whatever. Oh, whoa! He hit the back button. We made him disappear. Come back! Come back, Max! It's a new experience everywhere you go. Max, I don't know if it puts you in the back. You can just re-hit that and come back up. I don't know if you're watching on a sideshow. I hope you get the idea. I don't know if I told him he can come back. I think I did. Oh snap! Listen, we've gotten through 4 questions in 2 hours, but I love it because this man has given me an interview, folks, and I'm enjoying it. It's good company. Hopefully he comes back and I can ask him at least a few of the important ones. Or maybe this is the moment, y'all. There's 9 people in here. There's been like 11 people. Firstly, Wiggles loves you. Thank you so very much. If you guys got questions that will blow my questions away, if you're really a fan of this guy or something, put them in the chat. And we'll try to also hit some of my main focus questions as well. But I'm not gonna cut him off from talking. Like, he said I can, but you know what it is. You with us?
Is it? Can you hear me?
I hear you. I don't see you.
Oh,
It looks like it's.
oh no, yeah, no. Hold on, just one sec.
There it
Yeah,
is.
so I was in the chat, and I tried to go back, and it just was like, fuck you, we're gonna go out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
No.
that was rough. But no, and listen, I appreciate what you just said. The whole thing is, man, that I know that I can be, and this is why I try to be better about not just going on for fucking minutes and minutes straight. But I mean, again, bro, I know that it might seem silly to some people that that a person could have like a philosophical or like academic approach to something like Juggalo culture. Like, I totally get why that would seem silly, but again, I just some of the most profound lessons about the nature of the universe, the nature of God, the nature of humanity, I have learned through being a juggalo. And if not being a juggalo, experiences that I had because I was a juggalo and did things with juggalos or in a juggalo way, whatever that
Some of
actually
my
means.
some of my best experiences have been because I'm a juggalo. Some of my worst
Oh,
experiences in life have gotten me through by being a juggalo. And this is how like cheap that is. Some people will say, no, you made a choice not to do nothing. But I remember standing up on a train bridge and well, you can just guess where my head was at that point. I
yeah,
was
man.
16. My mom dipped. I've been on my own. I've been living on my own since. And I've crossed those demons a couple times. And every time, everything that I've known about being a juggalo is self-sacrifice is not okay. That is not our way to go. That's not what we do. And that's really helped me through a lot of times. And then go back and reflect on some of the other songs and stuff like that to be like, nah, you made the right decision. Keep pushing. So I absolutely. I get it. And it's more than just it's that's why when people call it a fandom, it pisses me off. But I've exhausted energy trying to argue that with people that it doesn't matter because it don't matter to them. But when it's somebody like us, like me talking to you, I know it matters to you. So like I would never joke or laugh off your reason or your approach or you know what I'm saying
Right. No, no,
about it.
absolutely. I feel you. And that's honestly, that's very well said. I honestly, it's, again, it's the kind of thing that you would not assume that there is the level of just profundity and wisdom in a culture like this and music like this, because so much of it is overtly ridiculous. But
Right.
like, but so no, I'm gonna leave you with something because it is, it's getting late. I got to bounce.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
which, and again, this has been a pleasure. We can definitely do this again sometime if you would
We
like.
got to, man. We have to after the gathering, maybe, because I still have a whole book of questions.
Oh no, rock and roll. Fantastic. Listen, again, we definitely will do that. But so no, listen. On miracles, fucking magnets, how do they work? And I don't want to hear from a scientist, y'all motherfuckers lying and getting me pissed. People heard that line and they're like, oh, he's anti-intellectual. And he's like, I don't want to fucking. And here's the thing, he probably did mean that. However, it has been said by any number of different people, including academic luminaries that have gone on like Joe Rogan's podcast and shit, and have talked about how a lot of genuine scientific and academic progress in the world is stifled, suppressed, and prevented because of people that don't want to change the old guard. They don't want to admit that they're wrong. They don't want to admit that their findings are not the definitive word. And so when advancements come through in science, or when advancements come through in academia in whatever way, people suppress them by lying and fucking subverting the process. So I don't want to hear from a scientist. Y'all motherfuckers lying and getting me pissed.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, juggalo shit is profound even when it's not. Even when it's doing something fucking silly or doing something that you don't really understand, go back and listen to it some other time. Yeah, take some time, live some life, go back to it, and then
Sleeper
let me know
songs,
if
I
it
like
still
to call
sounds
them.
the same way that it did. Like, this shit is so real, bro. And that is exactly why, for better or for worse, for all the, someday I'm going to be able to talk about it. I'm in the fucking middle of it, so I can't. But someday I'll be able to talk about exactly what I mean when I say you would not fucking believe me if I told you the real extent of the terrain that being a juggalo, and yes, being a juggalo rapper, has led me. Like, the shit that I've had to deal with is fucking, it defies explanation.
You're about to hop off, homie, so let me get one last little quick answered question out of
By
you.
all means,
and then if you want, we can wrap it up because I'll do my outro. I end my streams the same way every time, and that ain't going to change.
No, bet. I'm with it.
But so just for one last final question for now, and you guys heard it, I'm holding him to it. We got to get him back to ask him more questions. But for now, if you could be a fictional character or an animal, what would it be?
Well, so for an animal, I kind of think if it was a good environment I found myself in, probably a house cat, because they are very mysterious. But no, fictional character, that's kind of a tough one, just because I'm not the kind of guy that would be like, I want to be a superhero specifically, or like, I would be more interested in being like involved in a world or a part of a world. And excuse me, oh man, that really is difficult, because a lot of the things that I really enjoy the most are set in a world that is like horrific and like very likely that you will not survive it. And I don't know, who would I want to be?
You know, I asked a lot of artists that, and I don't know that I put a whole lot of thought into the fictional character, like maybe a gargoyle or something, because that was a dope show.
No, that's not, and the theme song was fantastic. You want to know what? I think the one that I would make, that I would do, just because, and it's a shame because in his story he does die, but Spike from Cowboy Bebop, and if not him, Gene Starwind from Outlaw Star, because these are guys that are like traveling, like nomads, and not nomads, but just wanderers. Usually they have a crew, and they're just trying to fucking do their thing and live their life. the way that they know how and the way that they have done it. And they always end up, but they're like caught up in, like, I like the kinds of worlds where it's futuristic and it's sci-fi, but it's
Like
presented in a way
cyberpunk.
where it's like, oh, this is just how life is. Like Cowboy Bebop, when they're walking around on the space stations and shit, everything looks like a normal city. You know what I'm saying? It just looks like a
Right.
regular place. But then they're in space. And like it's all like the craziness of it is meant to be mundane. So like I like stuff like that because I guess it feels more maybe not attainable, but more like relatable, I guess.
I think that's a solid answer, Max. From the bottom of my heart, homie, thank you so much for coming
Hey,
on to my
my
show,
pleasure, man.
giving me 2 hours of your time. It means more than you know. I can't wait to officially meet you in person. Rather,
Fuck
that's
yeah,
going to
man.
be
Looking forward
before
to
the
it.
gathering or at the gathering. I am going to make that happen. I'm going to make
Which
a point
again,
to find
so that's
you.
going to be day one. So that's August 13th, 12:45 on the Iconic stage. So
Okay.
I don't know exactly. I have to look at the map. I don't remember exactly where they're keeping it this year. The second stage always kind of moves. I'm pretty sure that it's like walking, like if you were at the barricade at main stage, you turned around and walked straight and then eventually took a right where there's like some trees on the hill. I'm pretty sure that that's where Lil Ballas is, and that is where the second stage is. But
Because I know
again,
on the map they did switch it. Did
yeah,
they
see,
put
that's what I
a
mean.
new
Who fucking knows?
stage down there by where like the pirate stage used to be? That's what it looks like.
That's possible. Honestly, I'm gonna have to take a look. I really haven't checked, but no, I'm very
Absolutely.
much looking forward to it. Thank you for taking the time, bro. Thank you for putting up with my interminable ramblings. And
Oh no,
we will
it's
definitely
great,
do this
man.
again, man.
Yeah, and I'm gonna end my stream the way I do every time by
Straight
saying,
up.
"Tell somebody you love them." You don't know who needs to hear that, and it could be you that changes their way of thinking, helps them get through the moment, their day. You never know what somebody's going through by looking at them. When I was 16 and
Yeah.
homeless and sitting on a park bench, didn't nobody know I was homeless. They just thought I was a dirty kid. Didn't nobody stop and say, "Hey, I can't give you no money, but I'll sit and listen to you." None of that kind of stuff. So just be kind. There's no need to conspicuously hate. And just know if you don't want to tell somebody, tell them Wiggles loves them. Put me out there. Say this Wiggles guy loves you. You know what I'm saying? He's
Nah,
there for you.
absolutely, bro. I now listen, that is what the like let's be real here. At the core of all of this is love. Like at the core of the whole culture really is love because the carnival is God. Whatever you decide God is, you don't that can mean whatever you want it to mean. But
Right.
to me, the idea of God is love. Like between fear and love, and they say love hate, but I think fear and love is the correct polar opposite. That those instincts and the things that they drive us to, both good and bad, that is what I believe to be essentially God, God and the devil. And again, I genuinely believe, like I say it in a way that sounds ironic, as far as like, you know, through the carnival all things are possible, because again that's
No, that's facts, man. So
well, no, but
much.
again, because again, that's a saying in the Bible is through God all things are possible. But point is, I genuinely believe the carnival is God with every piece of my heart, knowing that again, my grandfather survived the Holocaust, and the guy that introduced me to Insane Clown Posse, I met him in fucking Hebrew school. That's crazy. Like
Right.
that is something. The fact that something like that happened, and then everything else happened the fucking way that it did. How could I not be a part of this culture?
Right.
And be like all of the people that I've met, like anybody, if you're a juggalo, I absolutely love you. Whatever, as long as you're
Right.
not a piece of shit, if you don't hurt people, especially not children, and if you are
Right.
trying your best, I want to see you win, whether I like you or I don't like you, whether we agree on shit politically. You can love
Right.
fucking Trump, you can love fucking Biden. I don't give a fuck about none of that. If you're a juggalo, like genuinely, I have homies that are fucking like, Muslim, Arab that are fucking juggalos. And I'm a
Yeah,
dude.
right.
And I'm like, you want to know what? If y'all are telling me that my juggalo homie cannot come with me if I go to this place and they can't go back to their home because you're saying that they're like, nah, fuck you. Fuck whatever it is you have to say. They're like,
right.
if you cannot, if this person is not human enough, then I don't want to fucking come either. And that's supposed
If
to
you
be
got
my
love
fucking
for the
people or whatever.
culture, I got love for you. But you got to genuinely have love for it and show it and walk in it. You can't just,
Exactly.
no. You got to go through the good and the bad, and you got to take the good and the bad that comes with it. The publicity, the dumb shit, the this, the that. It's not just, that's what I mean. It's not just a fandom. But yes, Max, thank
No,
you
not
so
at
very
all,
much,
man.
homie. We've been at it for 2
Absolutely.
hours and 20 minutes, and
Yeah,
I hope we can go
almost
for
2.5,
another 2
bro.
hours.
Thank you for having me. I
Have a good
appreciate
night,
that
homie.
shit, bro.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
send
I'll
me
see
all
you
of your
again.
links. We're going to get all of his links in the description of this video. You're going to find him on everything he wants you to find him on. Whoop,
Yeah, man.
whoop!
Hey, 2 whoops, motherfucker. I'll see you again.
Yep.